Okay, my name is Shigenari Saito with KDDI in Japan. Thanks for giving me this opportunity of presentation about KDDI IPv6 deployment. My mission is network planning, including IPv6 deployment. Today, I explain why KDDI decided IPv6 deployment, what was key point to promote IPv6 deployment. At first, I introduced KDDI. KDDI was established in 1984 as DDI. Actually, KDDI started upon three-company merger, DDI, KDD, IDO. DDI was a domestic operator, KDD was international operator, and IDO was a mobile operator. KDDI had three networks at that time. KDDI's mission is contributing the realization of rich communication-based society through our business of providing stable communication services. And KDDI has two strategies. One is domestic and another is a global strategy. Regarding global strategy, we have advantage of global ICT platforms as data center, cloud, system integration, and network services. KDDI provides network services in 170 countries and 48 data centers in 26 countries and 58 cities. Next is major telecom operators in Japan. There are three major telecom operators in Japan. KDDI's revenue is second, and KDDI provides mobile service, fixed line service, and broadcast. Regarding mobile network, KDDI started LTE service last year, and three operators provide iPhone and Android. No difference of device, so quality of network is most important factor at this time. And regarding fixed line and broadcast, KDDI has one access fiber, including cable TV network. And JCOM is number one MSO, and JCN is number two MSO in Japan. Share of JCOM and JCN is 50% in Japan. Next is Japanese broadband market. Total subscriber increased from 28 million in 2008 to 35 million in 2013, plus 25%. FTTH subscribers increased from 11 million in 2008 to 24 million in 2013, plus 120%. Right graph is a share of FTTH. KDDI has a second share, 11% in Japan. Next slide is Japanese mobile market. Total subscriber increased from 80 million in 2003 to 143 million in 2013, plus 80%. Population of Japan is 127 in 2012, so the number of mobile phones is more than Japanese population. Right graph is a share of mobile, and KDDI share is second, 26%. Next slide is KDDI's domestic strategy. Our concept is 3M. 3M means multi-use, multi-network, and multi-device. Customer can use rich variation of content and services, and customer choose best network every time and everywhere. And customer can choose any device based on user preference. As I mentioned, KDDI have a mobile network and a fixed line network. And as this slide, we have 3G, LTE, WiMAX, Wi-Fi, FTTH, cable TV. Next is making the decision of IPv6 deployment. KDDI studied IPv4 exhaustion in 2007. We estimated unallocated address pool would be exhausted in 2010 or 11 or 12. KDDI used IP network for most all of services, internet access, TV, VoIP, intra-service, and mobile. So KDDI considered this was one of the most important issues. Internet keeps expanding, and we have two solutions. One is keep using IPv4 by carrier-grade NAT, and another one is IPv6 deployment. But IPv4 will be not gone in future. IPv4 will be used for a long time. Why doesn't the situation of only IPv6 internet come soon? We have three problems. One is cost of IPv6 deployment. We have to change network, including access network, many devices. Second issue is IPv6 preparation of all ISP, content provider, and customers. If anything is not ready, IPv6 doesn't work. Third issue was no specific service of only IPv6 now. So if we start IPv6, even though our revenue doesn't increase, no change. KDDI recognized if only KDDI complete IPv6 deployment, customers cannot use IPv6 completely. Network operator, ISP, content provider, device vendor, all stakeholders needs to complete migration to IPv6. But KDDI thought anyone had to start migration to IPv6. If not, anything didn't start. So this is the reason of making decision about IPv6 deployment. Next is actual IPv6 deployment of au Hikari. This is our FTTH service. We had key issues of au Hikari IPv6 deployment. Customers can get ready for IPv6 automatically. Second is minimization of IPv6 deployment cost. KDDI has two kinds of IP network. Left side is au Hikari new network. Right side is a legacy IP network. KDDI had a plan to expand au Hikari network in Japan. When KDDI expands au Hikari network with dual stack, KDDI can minimize IPv6 deployment cost. And we decided IPv6 deployment on only au Hikari new network. Next slide is actual migration to IPv6. Left side is network before migration, only IPv4. Right side is after migration. And KDDI upgrades au Hikari network and home gateway remotely. So customers automatically get ready for IPv6 without any action. No change parameter of home gateway, no application for IPv6, no additional charge for IPv6. A customer can use IPv6 with their IPv6 terminal. And KDDI completed migration in Kanto area, including Tokyo, in 2011. And we will complete IPv6 deployment by March 2014. Last portion is after the world IPv6 launch. World IPv6 launch was global support for IPv6. KDDI joined World IPv6 launch with AT&T, Comcast, Free Telecom, other stakeholders in 2012. This is IPv6 traffic in World IPv6 launch. The maximum traffic was over 10 gigabps on 6 June 2012. The most traffic came from Google. And the traffic increased on 6 June. We thought the reason of increment was IPv6 launch, but that was not correct. A Japanese idol group did a major event at that time. The reason of traffic increment was their live streaming. And the traffic was not changed because all of operators had done setup of IPv6 by 5th June. Next slide is a comparison of IPv6 and IPv4 performance. We used ping to compare IPv6 and IPv4 RTT, and we checked poor IPv6 performance in some cases. Left side, case 1 shows IPv6 was connected via United States to ISP. So KDDI made IPv6 appearing in Japan and fixed it. Case 2 shows IPv6 server of CDN provider was located outside Japan. And we asked CDN provider install IPv6 server in Japan, so fixed it. And KDDI doesn't have any critical problem after world IPv6 launch. And we have to keep checking IPv6 performance. Next is we have rolled out IPv6 to 8.49% of AS2516. AS2516 is KDDI's AS. Next is IPv6 traffic. Recently, the maximum 5-minute average IPv6 traffic has reached about 30 gigabps as of today. This is about 3 times of the world IPv6 launch. Next slide is we are bringing IPv6 to over 60% of FTTH users as of June 30th. Next is traffic analysis. Most of IPv6 traffic came from Google at IPv6 launch. After that, the traffic of CDN provider increased. The Limelight Networks and Akamai. Next is there are various metrics for IPv6 traffic, and these trends doesn't correspond with each other's. We think it's a different between traffic and session or access, the number of access. The measurement of traffic is one of the issue, and I would like to make sure the method of measurement. Finally, internet is a social infrastructure. Everybody has to cooperate, keeping internet for everybody, and IPv6 migration is necessary for internet and has to be done someday. And, KDDI is promoting IPv6 migration with everybody. Thank you very much.